Welcome to the Untrapped podcast, where we give motivational and inspirational tips about life, small business, wisdom,
health, wealth, finance, relationships.
It's about being the best you that you can possibly be. Hashtag Untrapped. Welcome to the Untrapped podcast. I am your host, Keith Kalfas.
What's up, guys? This is Keith Kalfas with the Untrapped podcast, and today we've got Brian Fullerton from Brian's Lawn Maintenance. What's up, Brian?
What's up, brother?
This is going to be a great show. Okay, so Brian, I've seen your videos all over YouTube. I'm seeing snow plowing videos, grass cutting videos. You're also helping guys out that are getting started in the business. There's guys that are along the journey with you, and dude, I like it, man. You got a business. You're working hard. You're plowing snow. Well, you probably haven't. How many hours of sleep have you gotten in the past week?
It's been a crazy couple of weeks. That's a fact. There was no snow in all of December, right? And now we get hit with nonstop snowstorms every single day, every other day in January. It's been a good month. It's going to be a good month. I still got to do my invoicing, but it'll be a good month.
I was on the phone with you just the other day, and I mean, you hadn't. What do you sleep like 6 hours in 3 days or something?
Dude, sometimes it's 3 hours a night, but it's all to a means to an end. We've been launching some huge projects, which I'm sure you've you get your fingerprints all over, so I'm very thankful for that. But it's been a busy January. I feel like we're doing more work in the off season than the regular season. I don't know if you can relate to that, but
yeah, dude, snow. I did snow for 15 years, and I actually stopped because it was interfering with my internet business that I'm also very passionate about. I mean, dude, when you're out like 3-4 days straight and sleeping in hotel rooms, I wanted to launch some very, very important projects in 2015.
Sure.
And they kept getting delayed because of all the snow work, and I was so frustrated. I said, you know what? It sucks. I love plowing snow, but I'm going to stop it at least temporarily. Cause
it's funny, a lot of people always ask me why I don't do salting, right? And I know we're talking about snow removal, but people are like, why don't you do salting? Because it's such a time suck where I can't do all of it. So we got good subcontractors. But again, it's all a means to an end. We're staying busy on the other side of the tracks with how many other projects and other irons in the fire we have. So it's going to be a good summer. I can't wait.
Awesome. And I want to talk to you a little bit about, we covered this on another video, but we were talking about route density because, I did lawn care my whole life, and then I quit doing it after the second year in my business, and I started picking up a bunch of landscaping jobs instead. And I always thought the only way I can make this work is if I really focus down on route density, so you're not driving all over the place and you have these man hours being wasted sitting in the truck.
Sure.
So we'll cover that, and then we'll get into...
Yeah.
Talk about that, dude.
Well, I think first off, the reception from the route density video on your channel was awesome because that's all I talk about on my channel is route density, profitability, productivity. I think a lot of people in this world today get confused with busyness versus productivity. And I'm just not a really busy guy. I like pulling the right levers and all the things that I do to get the maximum return out of it, right? And it sounds good in theory, but that's why we do every single day. We evaluate everything we do to be profitable and maximize, right? That's what people preach, but very few people execute, I feel. To have that kind of video on your channel is really cool too, because I think half of the reality is that half of those people didn't probably know who I am, so it's just another face and get to hear my perspective. But just talking about how you do landscaping, how it differs from lawn care. When you have a small ticket, $30, $40, $50 weekly cuts, you got to make that up somehow. So route density is the way to do it for that. Landscaping, route density helps, but when you get a $5,000 job, you can afford to be there for a week.
I'm curious now that. So how many miles are on your truck? You're parking, and then you're just going from, you're riding the machine to the next lawn, right?
Yeah, normally my helper, my employee, is driving the whole truck and rig house to house. I literally shuttle on the mower from house to house. So if very rarely do we have to ramp the mower into the trailer. Usually we drop it off at 8 a.m. We'll do lunch at about noon 1, so we'll ramp it then, and then we'll go back out and about and start mowing lawns from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That's pretty much it. Beyond that, yeah, we don't let the mower sit. So how many hours can you log on that thing? We're crazy.
It's crazy. I was just thinking. I was sitting in the airport on the way back from the Grant Cardone 10X Growth Conference.
Yeah, you want to talk about something cool? That had to be a good time.
Yeah, dude. There's legit 30,000 people there.
I bet. I saw the photos on Instagram.
It was epic. The networking was great too. But in the airport, I just happened to be sitting next to some dude. He was like 55, 60, and he had grown a big construction business of all things. And he was saying he read a book about productivity where he changed this around in his business. He tried it with everybody. Let's do this for 3 months and see how it works. He said that they only work 5 hours a day. They come in super early. They work nonstop with 0 breaks, 0 lunch, 0 nothing. They just pure productivity nonstop, and then everybody gets off at 2 o'clock.
What was the result?
He said that his productivity in his business went up like 20%, and everybody loves it because they don't have to sit in a rush hour traffic on the way home, and he's making a little bit more money.
Sure.
Because of not the downtime and the breaks and all that, so it works for everybody, and they like it. But I want to ask you about that in reality, because, I mean, what do you guys stop for lunch? Half hour? 45 minutes?
Yeah, honestly, we take about an hour break. I'm a slow eater. If anybody's watched me or got to eat dinner or catch up with me in person, I'm a slow eater, man. I'll be at Chipotle for an hour and a half, you know? I like to taste my food. Most people like snake eat, you know what I mean? Where they just like gobble it and they eat it whole. And I did too much of that when I was growing up in like my little corporate America stint for 2 years. And I said, I will never do that. I like to taste my food. If not, like, let's just go eat ramen or something, right?
Yeah, I remember we were eating at Outback Steakhouse, and it was like we were there like 45 minutes in your iron ring. And I just wolfed my food.
You scraped the plate in a half hour. You were like, hey, you're going to get on that? I'm like, dude, relax. You know, and I'm like, this is mine. You got your meal. I got mine. But you got to enjoy your food. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we normally take an hour lunch break.
So do you think that would is that even possible in something like lawn care, landscaping?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of times when we eat meals on the go. Don't get me wrong. If we got dark clouds rolling in and the rain's going to come, of course we're going to work our butts off because we look at the radar. Hey, it's 1 o'clock. Do we take a lunch break? The rain's moving in at 3. Or can we finish our lawns for the day? And then we'll go eat lunch at 4 or 5 o'clock. So, you got to filter it through a brain cell, of course. But the reality is that, like, I don't know, if you make those other 7 hours count, you can take an hour for lunch. I think where a lot of people, and we can go down the rabbit hole forever on this, but most people don't make the first 7 hours count in the day. And so that's why they have to work past 10, 11 o'clock. Like there's a whole thing out there about working hard, right? And hustle and grinding and all this other mess and going out there and crushing it. Like, to me, crushing it isn't going to work 168 hours a week at 168 hours a week. It's maximizing the 40 or 50 that you're going to do. I see too many people doing 15-hour work versus learning how to maximize that first 40. My whole philosophy isn't let's go work 90 hours a week and work Saturdays and Sundays. It's let's make those 4 or 5 days that we do work very productive. Yes, so you can make more money, but B, so you can save more time and have that still have that work-life balance.
So let's break that down and quantify that. I bring that down to the individual minute. If one thing that drives me nuts, if we're in a landscape job working, it's already 11 a.m., and then say somebody who works for me or even a client or somebody wants to start just shooting the shit, as soon as somebody starts talking about anything that doesn't have to do with the job and the task at hand, I can see like the cartoon clock going like this, and I go into instant like
panic mode.
Yeah, like
this is costing me money.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. Like, isn't it wrong almost? Like, you're like, oh my God, like this customer wants to talk to me, and I want to build a relationship with them, right? I want to turn them from a customer to a client. So we always have this like knowing thing. That's where
I do plenty of that. I talk to the customers a lot, actually.
Yeah, well, all of our employees usually tell us that we need to stop talking, right? So
yeah.
No, I think it's like you gotta really evaluate that. Like, one, are you getting paid enough for the job you're doing, where you don't mind factoring that cost into it? I mean, there's definitely customers that we bid high just because I know I call it a cut in a conversation, right? The CNC. Like, I know if I'm going to go there, they have to talk to me about the Daytona 500 or whatever, right? It's like, oh my God. So you got to factor that into the price, right or wrong. So
no, I don't care. Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're managing your hours in a day correctly, I've said it many times before on my channel that the best tool that I have. People say, what's the best piece of equipment that you own in your business? And for me, you can go to my truck right now, and the middle dash cup holder thing in the little cubby is a stopwatch. We carry around a stopwatch everywhere we go. And I had to get crazy methodical about my business for about a year because I listened to a lot of Darren Hardy stuff.
Dude, Darren Hardy's awesome.
Darren Hardy's the G. I mean, if I could afford to have that guy mentor me or something like that, that'd be a best case scenario one day. I told Liz we're going to name our first kid Darren. She's like, that's not going to happen. I said, how about a middle name? She goes, get away from me. So I would name my first kid Darren, or his middle name, just out of honor and respect to that guy. Because that guy, he's a real estate guy, and he's also business. He's a high performance coach. And that guy, I learned from him with his stint in real estate that there's certain activities that move the needle forward. And there's certain levers you can pull to get the most results, right? And so I listened to that probably about 2 years ago now, if I was honest, maybe even 3 years ago. And I said, you know what? Like, I have all these moving components to my business, but I'm not seeming to make the profit I want. Gross numbers are cool. Everybody talks about gross. Nobody talks about net, right? And people are like, well, I make $100,000 a year. I go, how much of that did you keep? And, we can get into that forever. But, I mean, to me, it just makes sense. Run $150,000 your business and make $100, Or some of these guys do $150,000 a year and they make 30. Like, all businesses aren't created equal. So we can go down that rabbit hole forever. I mean, that's what my YouTube channel is all about, helping people succeed and, crush it with their business. But I think a lot of people need to make that first 40 hours work before they start getting fancy. So stopwatch. Carry a stopwatch with you. How many minutes does it take you to do certain things? That helps you understand your costs. When you understand your costs, you can start charging correctly because you know how much you want to make in a day. So most people just say, I'm going to go work and cut lawns for 8 hours a day. My attitude is how much you want to make with that day, and let's work backwards. Because once you know how much you want to make with that day, you can extrapolate a week, you can extrapolate a month, you can extrapolate a season, and you can figure out what kind of lifestyle you want to live. So most people don't begin with the end in mind.
Give another example at the beginning with the end in mind. Do you write it down? Do you see it in your head? Do you look at the numbers? Do you look at your QuickBooks?
Well, let's do something similar but different. Let's talk about like relationships. Like I always talk about, like the number one most important thing to me isn't success per se about business. It's all encompassing. I want to have a successful life. So to me, a really important thing is my marriage. I know from enough people skill books and relationship books that it takes 15 to 20 hours a week to establish a good relationship with any human being on the planet. Right? 15 to 20 hours. Right or wrong, that's just what I've heard and that's what I've read. So if I want to keep my marriage healthy, let alone grow it, I need to grow 15 to 20 hours a week with my wife. Right? So it's not a quantity time, it's a quality time. We all understand that. But similarly, like, you can't imagine that you're going to have a successful marriage if you're only logging 3 hours a week on that time clock. So I know, like, if my marriage or Liz and I, like my wife's name is Liz, if we're fighting or we're not connecting or we're just off, it's really easy to realize, like, look at the last 2 weeks, how many hours a week did we spend together? And I know that sometimes we get busy, right? We all get busy, especially in the busy season. And it doesn't mean that, she's taking 40 hours a week or 20 hours a week and we hit this, 100 out of 100.
Oh, how do you spell love?
Time. I mean, yeah. Did I answer right?
Of course.
I would assume, most people, like, that's what I know, like 15 to 20 hours a week. So again, like, what's productivity and what's success? Well, you got to learn how to pull the levers that work. And I don't know, that's just what works for our marriage, But if you're only logging 3 hours a week, like, why does my marriage suck? Well, it's because you're not measuring the time clock correctly. So health and fitness, right? We all know we got to go five days a week, spend an hour doing lifting weights and getting the cardio up, right? But if you don't log 5 hours out of 5 hours, well, at best, your physical fitness isn't going to maintain or get better. So everything in life has a certain amount of leverage you got to push or pull. And if you do that correctly, you can keep all those gears turning. And so when people are like, oh, you got to go work 160 hours a week out of 168, I would argue that, if you really looked at the math, you can make your life work with 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I don't know. That's why everybody's always like, how do you do so much with so little time? Like Elon Musk, right? I mean, that guy is crazy.
Insane, dude.
I mean, I just love listening to that guy because his brain operates at a different level. But I'm starting to learn stuff like that. The more successful people I learn from and study from, like, they're not running around all helter-skelter, They're very focused.
Efficient,
productive.
So here, I want to ask you something.
We're going deep.
Dude. So I have this thing.
Mm-hmm.
We can call it anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I sit down in my office. I sit down on my laptop. I just get there. I sit down. I have to literally wait, almost like waiting for a snow globe, everything to settle. And it could take hours before I'm actually getting to a flow state, and then I can start working.
Sure.
But I'm talking like it's like these moving wheels, almost like an entire carnival is running. It's like being propelled, even though there's nothing no longer spinning it.
Okay.
Changing channels cleanly. I'm really obsessed with this stuff. Consciousness. How can you get to work? Boom, go right into work mode, full speed from 0 to a 10. Then as soon as you walk in the door, 0, and then 10, home life, go into the gym, 10. As soon as you go out, gym doesn't exist, 0. To create compartmentalize, like I'm aware of it, but they're overlapping energies, slewing from one moment to the next. Talk about that.
Well, I think I'm going to borrow one from the One Thing book. A great book. It talks about counterbalance. Like people that say they have a balanced life. And, by the way, I'm 32. We have a decent couple little businesses and a good, successful marriage. But let's keep things in context. I'm only 32. What do I know, right? Somebody who's 42 might listen to this and say, the kid's got a good foundation, a good base, but what does he know? And I respect that. So, again, I'm still a student. I'm still going through the whole process, right?
Well, I know confidence goes a long way. If you talk and act and sound and believe you're confident,
yeah.
Like you actually could be. I'm not saying you are, but You
Yeah.
could be completely full of shit. Just because you're confident about something, everybody will listen to you
Yeah.
and think that you know what you're talking about, and then it'll create this perpetual loop where you believe it too.
I hope that's how it works. Well, here's the deal. You know, I'm a very simple guy. I grew up in like a small town. Like we call it fruit inspectors, right? Like, don't listen to somebody if they got fruit unless they have fruit on the tree. And so,
Perfect, yeah.
so for me personally, I can tell you without any hesitation, my wife's not calling my phone right now asking where I'm at. She trusts me, right? My wife's not concerned about our finances because we're making money and I'm taking care of my finances, right? My wife's not wondering where I'm at for 5 hours a week if I'm going to the gym or going to some random hotel, right? Like, there's fruit on my tree. So I only talk from a position of experience, hopefully a little bit of wisdom, right? Because I'm getting a little bit older, but I'm not saying I'm, I got this big 50,000 foot macro, right? Like some of these guys that are 50 years old. So all things being said, yeah, I think most people can really maximize their life if they learn how to not be all over the place, if they're just focused. I don't know. Does that answer your question, you think?
Yeah, that's good. And then so if you're building something out and it's not producing fruit, how do you gauge how much focus you should put into that for how long until it produces fruit for you?
Like, I think a big thing is just being self-aware. You know, if you're, there's different phases, right? Like we're talking about counterbalance. That's what it was. We're talking about counterbalance with the one thing. I don't think anybody can really be super balanced in life. Like you're like you said, you ever hear people say like, I'm 100% all in kind of guy. And I'm like, dude, would you stop lying to yourself? Would you stop lying to everybody else? The only people on planet Earth that are 100% all in on anything in life are Olympians. Okay, for 4 years, those people eat, sleep, train, rest, success to accomplish whatever they're doing, pole vaulting, right?
Yeah, and even burn down everything else in their life in the process to be the best.
They literally sacrifice everything for a gold medal. Respect, totally. So I want to ask who out there believes that they're giving 100% to whatever they're doing. I'm giving 100% to my lawn care business. You're lying. You're giving about 5% of your energy, your workflow, your life force to anything you're doing at any one time.
This is a good point. I know this. You see that book up there? It's called Opportunity. Can you grab that? It's on the top left. I got to show you guys this.
Let's see. All right, this guy.
Yeah, dude. I follow this guy. I don't promote him or anything. His name's Evan Pagan, but I watched an interview with him recently, and he said something amazing. So this guy's made several $100 million, but he said he really thinks it's important to take a period of your life where you go all in on your own success, and you just become 100% self-absorbed in a positively selfish way, 100% for an entire chunk of your life, and that's sometimes what you can,
I do.
That's crazy.
I mean, there's people that say like you take the first third of your life, you build, take the second third of your life, and you grow. You take the last third of your life and you give back.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I like it. I think here's the deal. You want another good little lesson that from the One Thing book was your life force, like your energy, your battery. Like, believe it or not. And dude, it's so crazy that people even like hear this from me from the horse's mouth. But I am actually not a people person. Like, I am not a what do you call them, an extrovert? I'm not an outgoing person. Believe it or not, I'm not. It's not like I dislike people. It's just my personality type is very introverted. Like, I don't get charged up talking to people. Like, doing a podcast like this, it takes energy for me. Right? Like, after this, I could probably go take a nap because I'm not others focused. Like by design, like carnally, I'm just not. That's just how I'm wired. Some people are the complete opposite. They get fueled. They go to a party and they're the life of the party. They come back like, that was a good time. For me, I would be in the corner. Don't talk to me. I'm going to eat some pretzels. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to talk to people. So one thing that I know about me, and it's something that I had to learn was my battery. Like we all got iPhones, right? And my phone battery can go a lot quicker than other people's batteries when I'm doing certain tasks. Now, if you leave me alone on a laptop for 6 hours and I just crunch numbers, like my battery can last longer or gets like recharged. So for me personally, like not only do you have to learn what levers to pull, but you also have to know like how long you can do that task until you burn out, if that makes sense.
Dude, let us know in the comments below if you are an introvert or if you're an extrovert and why.
I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. You know what? It's really cool. I think you need to learn how to maximize your personality. Like in my opinion, God made me the way I am, and I need to learn how to operate in those strengths. And I think a lot of people spend too much time trying to improve their weaknesses versus just maximizing their strengths. Like if you're already a 7, work on doubling down and being a 10. But if you're a 2, don't spend your freaking energy trying to be a 5. Go hire out the rest of that. I don't know. That's just what works for me. But again, I've had to learn in the last 3 years what works for me.
So what makes you learn? What gives you the 40,000-foot view?
I think listening to people who have been there, done that, like the Gary V's, the Darren Hardys. There's very few people that you see in the marketplace today dispensing advice that are under 40 or 50 years old. Isn't that kind of interesting? Like, it's funny. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, the reason, look at the president right now. I think he's like 72, Trump. But most people that run for president, they're like, I think it's in the Constitution, right? You got to be like, is it 35 or something, at least older?
I think it's like 40, 42 or something.
Yeah, you're going to be like 45, right? We're horrible at this. Way to go, civics class, public school. But let's just say, like, when's the last time you heard of a president being 55 or younger? I think maybe besides, like, Obama or JFK or something like that, somebody was telling me. But for the most part, everybody who runs for president is like 65, 70, 75. And then they have this 50,000-foot macro. Whether they were successful in business or not, it's irrelevant. It's just they finally have the 70-year-old vantage point. Like, how much life can you learn by 30 years old? How much life? I mean, I'm 32, dude, and I'm telling you, the 2 years ago, Brian was dumb as a stump as compared to I am today. But you know what? 2 years from now, I'm going to go, oh, my God, at 32, I thought I had the world licked. That kid had nothing figured out. Yeah, amen? So I don't know. I think listening to people who, thank God there's a lot of people out there dispensing wisdom, like Valuetainment with Patrick Bet-David, the Gary V's, the Darren Hardys, the John Maxwell's, the Tony Robbins. I mean, pick your people. But, it's cool that a lot of these people have thought things through for 30, 40 years. And if you notice, a lot of their messages haven't changed. Like, they're tried and true principles. Marriage principles, financial principles, etc. So I don't know. I find it, why try to figure it all out on your own?
You were telling me something before the podcast. You were talking about a different percentage of the different areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting. I just want to dive deeper into your brain because you seem to have a lot of clarity. And so I want to know where the clarity meets up in your perception to the action, because the residue that's on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of a question.
Well, let's break that one down. I think too many people are perfectionists. I think something that got into my brain a few years ago, I read in a really good book, the best dang sales book ever, Warren Gresh's. He said, and we've all heard statements like, the enemy to good is great, or whatever the fancy saying is, right? Everybody's seeking perfection. He said, in business, there's no such thing as a perfect product. You can have a good product, but if you had a perfect product, it would pretty much expend all the resources of your company.
Wait, say that again?
So you can't have a perfect product.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. You can't have a perfect marriage. You probably could, but it'll expel or expend every single resource you have access to, right? Like, if I want to have 68 hours a week with my wife, or, besides sleeping, I probably wouldn't be able to work a job or have a business, right? We probably have the best marriage because we spend 128 hours a week. Honestly, we probably have a horrible marriage. Liz would not want to see me that much. Liz would be like, go, get away from me. After about 20 hours a week, she's probably done with me anyway. She's like, go, get out the door, go do something productive. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if you just, all I did was this, and this, like, the rest of your life would crumble. So I think one thing that I've gotten really content with is accepting B+ work, B+ results from everything I do. I would love to, the 80-20 rule, right? We've all heard stuff like that.
That's so good, accepting B+ results.
I mean, like,
it takes a lot of the pressure off, and then it actually makes you feel like you can go take a lot more action.
Dude, you want to talk about self-inflicted anxiety, self-inflicted stress? I think that's where a lot of people come. That's how it'll take you right to the loony house, man. Everybody wants to be the best, the authority. I keep hearing that, the authority in what you do. I don't want to be the authority of what I do. I want to just go through life with the rest of y'all. We'll learn as we all go. We'll have a good time. But let's not be too busy to hang out. Let's not be too busy to party. I know, doesn't it just feel like taking a breath off right there? Like,
dude, love it.
Everybody wants to be an A. You can be an A by the time you're 45, 50 years old, right? Like, unless you were,
if you're not an A+, you suck.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, if you're 3 years old and playing soccer, by the time you're 21, you're going to be Ronaldinho making $40 million a year, okay? But you had to start at 2. And that's why those guys have 20 years in and they're 25 years old, driving Bentleys and Ferraris and have the home and it all figured out. But it was 20 years in the making. Like, me, Mr. Motivation, and me, Mr. Successful, I'm 10, 12 years into this. Maybe like 4 or 5 in the last few years. I really started doubling down on, encouraging myself to be a better person, you know. So I don't know. I think I always tell like lawn clients, hey, we are not the best lawn care service. We are definitely not. There's guys that can outstripe me, out mow grass, out trim, I'll tell you the pH level, all this crap. You know what we are? We are the most consistent lawn service company you've ever had. We are on your lawn. That if you're a Wednesday cut, we are on your lawn every Wednesday, if not Thursday. We are 99.5% on time. Now we don't give you an A plus cut. We don't give you an A. We leave grass clippings here and there. We might miss a spot. We do this. But here's the deal. We do B plus work. I always tell people, you will get a B plus out of us, but you'll get a B plus every single week, 26 weeks straight for 11 years so far. And I will
love it, bro.
I will hang my hat on that,
dude. You're helping me so much right now. That's good.
I don't know. Hopefully, it helps somebody.
Dude, I'm a perfectionist at like with work and all the projects we do. Yeah, it's insane.
I'm a thankfulness person. I'm thankful that I can even get to a B plus right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be like academics, D's and C's, but I mean, like, just my ability to perform in life, I will take a B plus out of myself any day.
This is beautiful. When you're honest with yourself about that, it takes all the pressure off.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can't compete with half these people out here. Well, I'm not going to compete with, creating a podcast. Like, dude, you're already a B plus in this. I would take 40 hours a week to learn how to do this. So why would I spend so much time, creating all this self-imposed anxiety? You know what I mean? Like when people want to buy a lawnmower, right? Let's keep it really practical. They're like, well, do I do this one? Do I do this one? Which one? I mean, dude, just here, you want to know a life philosophy? I don't like say this. We don't have like a sign made up in the bathroom, but it's like make a decision and make it right. I don't have every right answer. Like if you fight with your wife, okay, stop fighting and go apologize and be like, look, I was a moron. Can we just move forward? But like, that's all it is. You just meet it halfway,
It's funny. Well, all married. If you're married, let me know. My wife and I used to fight a lot. Mm-hmm. We literally just got sick of it. We're like, this is a waste of time. Mm-hmm. So as soon as we sense that coming up, let's just get back to because you're there. Yeah. If you're married, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, nobody wants to fight. I mean, once we get done, I go, that was fun. and then when you're done, you're like, what was that even about? I don't remember. Because usually you start fighting and then it's some other issue and the other issue.
It's about who was right and shit.
Yeah, it's like, who cares, At the end of the day, you know what I realized? We fight a lot when we're both not moving forward. Yeah. When you start looking at each other and you start nitpicking and poking, we realized that about 2 years ago. Because we've been married for 4 years. We've been together for 5.5, almost 6. And, again, I got 4 years of marriage. What do I know, right? I got it all figured out. The new marriage book coming out by Brian's Law Maintenance. Marriage edition. But that's what we've just realized. Like, why are we even fighting? Like, don't we have bigger things to accomplish right now than to be petty? So I don't have the best marriage. I got a B plus marriage. I'd say, arguably, we have an A marriage. Because that's the number one most important thing to me, besides my spiritual walk. Because I don't care about money. Like, it comes and goes, and you can't take it with you. So who cares?
I'd say to me, my marriage is an A. It's in the A's because I learned that when you just let love win and you just put love first. Yeah. I love my wife so incredibly so much that I see her through the eyes of love, and it just really dissolves a lot of the bullshit. Amen. And that's what I have this thing.
You're thankful.
Just drink the Kool-Aid, dude.
Yeah. Amen, dude.
And just drink the Kool-Aid.
I think people see on YouTube, and I appreciate even having the platform being on your podcast because I know you have a huge audience. Like, people see my YouTube channel and they're like, go, 100 miles an hour, crush it, succeed. And I get that. I'm all about that. Because when you want to change your life so desperately like I do, right? Like, literally, we have other podcasts we've been on. Like, we came from zero, nothing, nada. Like, I didn't get any subscribers. I didn't get any shout-outs. We have 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. Nobody helped me a dime, not an ounce. Nobody still has, right? I mean, we've been on 1 or 2 shout-outs now, but that hasn't changed the first, 3 years of suck, of grinding it out. Nobody helped me grow my lawn care landscape business. So that being said, we're super thankful. We're super humble, But I'm just thankful to even be this far along. I'm thankful that my wife is put up with my crap.
It's awesome, dude.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, my business, my channel is all about helping you guys crush it, but crush it to me is all encompassing. It's not just having dollars and cents come in the till. If you go make $200,000 a year and your marriage fails, And I'm not being mean, but like, to me, you're just not. It's not like you're not successful. It's that you missed the mark.
Yeah.
I'd rather make 150 grand and keep my marriage than make 200 grand and sacrifice everything.
I'm thinking about one word, and it's worldview. Your worldview and the way you see the world. It's so powerful. It changes everything. Tell me about that shirt, man. That's dope.
The motivation?
Motivated.
Motivated.
That's dope.
I can't read upside down. I'm
Here,
not a teacher.
sit up straight so they can see it real clear.
All right.
There it is. Oh, they can see it. Motivated.
If I knew I was going to be here today, I should have got a pump. You know what I mean? Get my chest day in. I'm 170. Obviously, a male fitness model. Such a dork. So this comes out in the first week of March. All of our new shirts. And honestly, it came out of a reluctancy because I'm not like trying to hawk shirts to people. I feel like the guy at the concert. It's like buy the limited edition shirt.
Yeah,
man.
but that's dope, dude. That's like
cool.
universal, like lawn care motivated.
Who's not motivated?
I would wear that. I want one.
Well,
It's
you
dope.
can buy it at brianslawmaintenance.com. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know where you get them. Teespring. Link in the description, right?
It's on your website though.
It is now on our Kajabi, yeah.
Merch.
Yeah.
The merch tab.
Entrepreneur merch. You got to represent the brand.
Can you show that, or is that secret?
Oh, this is the phone case, so you guys can see this one.
Oh, hold it up into that camera. See that?
Oh, look at there.
Motivated.
The official phone case of Lawn Care Landscaping Professionals.
Love it, dude.
I like it. I'll get you one.
Okay, so what's going on with this? I saw a video where you're putting out this PDF thing.
Yeah, so I use a lawn agreement form that we send out to all of our customers just to kind of get like an inquiry of all the services they want for the year.
So you mail out a physical form? Or
Yeah,
you email
old
it? Okay,
school
cool.
snail mail. Yep. And so we send that out to 150 clients, like my regular route, and basically people can use a checkbox system to check off what services they want. It's really a way for me to get organized. And a lot of people love those videos talking about the form over the last few years. And I get dozens and dozens of like emails and DMs on Instagram where people are like, I tried to like freeze the video and like screenshot it and make my own. It's just, what does it exactly say? And I would try to like take photos of it and stuff, but basically, just out of a need, we launched a new training program website where now you can opt in to get a free download of that form. And so it's been a game changer. There was, I think, 1,500 people that downloaded it in the first evening.
That's insane, dude.
It's insane.
That's insane.
We're helping people.
Entrepreneuracademy.com, right?
I appreciate the plug. It's brand new. It's a baby. It's something. It's just in its infancy. It's going to help a lot of people at a very nominal price point. We are selling training programs, but it's not a cash grab. It's literally out of like, I was reluctant to do something like that because everybody's got really good programs already out there in the marketplace. I mean, really, like you have got a great platform, Dirt Monkey, a bunch of other guys, right? But when you're just talking about lawn care, I was looking left and looking right, and there's good programs out there, but maybe not as relevant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was just a fresh take on it. So we are selling some training programs. They're going to be pretty nominally priced. But I'll tell you what, for what you're going to get in them, game changer. Because I remember getting started, man, we had no direction. I literally, the old analogy, threw mud up against the wall and
See what sticks.
See what sticks. And I wanted to make them accessible for the masses of folks that want to start a lawn care business and do the whole deal. So I'm really excited about it. I think what people are going to get out of it is saving a lot of time, saving a lot of hassle, a lot of frustration. Because I have 450 YouTube videos kind of saying the same thing, but who wants to watch 450 videos?
So, dude, I got a question here.
Yeah.
I get this question all the time, and I want you to answer it.
Uh-oh.
Because you probably get it too.
Is it a good one? Good question?
Yeah, it's just a question, dude.
I feel like I'm on the firing line.
No. The question is, a lot of new guys say, when should I start advertising when the spring hits? When is because I don't want to waste any money, and if you ask a guy that's been in business, he's got a $100,000 budget, totally different answer. But for you, what is the answer?
For me...
And what are the modalities you use and how you advertise?
Sure. I think when the weather breaks, and it's an abstract statement, but it's as true as I can say it, because now doing YouTube, I see the macro. I got people, asking that question from Texas. I get people asking that question from Maine, and the weather, entirely different. Texas, they might even be cutting grass right now. It's, mid-February. For me, there's always that 10-day window, or 3 or 4 day window, I should say, when the weather breaks. And for Michigan, it might be from when it goes from 15 degrees to 45 degrees. And you know this, man. People start wearing shirts. They put their window down. It's like summertime. It's crazy. Michiganders are weird, We're all crazy like that. But that's that window you pass those flyers out because that's the first time people start thinking about spring. And in Texas, it might be same thing. It might be the second week of February. For us in Michigan, it's usually that middle week of March. I notice that you always get that 50-degree week. You know what I'm saying? It's rainy, it's muddy because everything's melting, and people are like, oh, spring's around the corner. You go to the mall, and the whole place looks like it's as busy as it was on the week of Christmas, right? Because everybody wants to get new clothes and change the wardrobe up, right? And they've all been cooped up inside. I think the interesting thing is, I exactly saw a case study of what not to do. So the other night, we were doing a snow removal run. We got 5 inches of snow unexpectedly, and on everybody's mailbox was a green flyer. And so me and the guy that was helping me out, just getting some extra, making some extra money, we grabbed one of the flyers just to look at it, and it was a fertilizer flyer contract. And although I appreciate the guy's ambition, he did not look at the weather forecast because there's 5 inches of snow on the ground. How many people you think grabbed a fertilizer flyer and just immediately ash canned it? So its timing is everything.
Irrelevant.
It's totally irrelevant. If he would have waited 5 days later, the time of this recording, we're having a 45-degree day, Thursday, Friday. If it was me, I'd pass those out a week later. And again, let's say he passed out 5,000 flyers and it cost him $200. It's not the end of the world. But you have to put some intentionality, some thought behind what you do. So if he would have just waited a week more, I bet you he would have got 10 times the phone calls.
Given the average budget, because if he's trying to get into the mind of his prospect and repeatedly putting stuff out ahead of time, and he can afford to do that, then good. But if not,
well, I mean,
okay.
As big as our company is, like I still count every penny. Who wants to waste money? But if he would have just waited a week more, perfect answer, perfect scenario. I think he would have had a better return. But it's just like planting corn in December. Why would you plant corn in December? I'm not a farmer, and I know that's a dumb idea, unless there's something I don't know about corn. But I don't think corn grows in December.
Hey, what do you do when you're extremely busy and you get walk-ups and the customer's like, hey, cut my lawn, dog?
Well, we qualify them on the spot. Hey, what do you want? Well, you cut my lawn every other week? No, we already know to disqualify them because I only do weekly customers, not bi-weekly. But we take on walk-ons. We take on walk-on customers. Half of my business break came from people approaching my rig and saying, hey, can you do me next?
Walk-ups are huge, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, walk-ups are great. I mean, especially for one-off services like aerations. They're for real. You
guys are doing aerations?
Well, we do in the spring and summer. Not right now. It's 5 inches of snow.
You got a machine?
Yeah, I got the stand-on aerator.
Which one do you got? I didn't even know that.
The X-Mark. Oh my God! You want to talk about probably the most profitable thing I've ever added to my business?
That's dope.
Yeah, it was like $8,600 with fleet.
Dude, you got the X-Mark riding aerator.
It's a game changer. Paid for X-Mark.
What are you charging to do a front and backyard? And do you blow off a little turds?
It's a little dog poop. Yeah. We do $50 to $75 for a basic subdivision lawn, 4,000 square foot. Realistically, they're 3,000 square foot lawns. Takes about 8 minutes.
Okay, guys, if you here's what I was doing in my business. I quit doing it, but like what I would do is I'd line up a whole bunch of customers for a week in the spring with aerations, and then I would do a combo package with power rake. So then I would just go rent the two machines, a power rake and then core aeration. So we'd run up and down with the power rake and then blow and rake all the shit up, take it away, all the thatch. And then either go over with that. And then I was thinking of like, I was doing it 85 for a la carte and then 150 for both, and then I realized that wasn't enough money, so I should do like
I think well, we all learn, right? I mean, my prices have gotten a lot better the last few years too. Thanks, YouTube, because it's a two-way street. I learn every day. I got 50,000 people weighing in every day about my business, whether or not my prices are good or bad or whatever. It's all relative. I always say because every market's different. But yeah, I used to do the same thing. I used to line up 60 to 70 aerations in a week, and I literally called it Hell Week because we'd rent those rickety walk-behind aerators that would literally destroy you. I would go through a bottle of Aleve in a week. I'm not kidding. Dude, so when people are like,
turning around.
Oh, my God, lifting it up, man, doing the whole deal. And we did that all the freaking time. And so that's what gave me the base to buy my stand-on aerator because I knew we would do 60, 80 in the spring, 10, 20 in the fall. That was a good, cover the payments, if you will, for the whole year, just in that week. So it's good money. I love aerations. It's the best thing I added to my business, besides adding mulch.
Now, what are you doing, flagging out the sprinkler heads?
We always say if it's not flagged, it's not our fault. So sprinkler heads are responsible for the customers and the Comcast line, that goes to the house.
Yeah.
But anything else that's not marked, it's not our fault. But Comcast will replace the line next day if you do happen to hit one, so it's no big deal because they want to, get that money for the subscriptions for cable TV, right? And then sprinklers, we stay a foot away from all property lines. So it's even if somebody's will walk up and they don't want to flag it or they can't. Generally speaking, most subdivision lawns, they only have perimeter sprinklers anyway.
Yeah.
So some of the bigger lots, like the corner cul-de-sacs, will have in the rear of the house, the backyard, they'll have the sprinklers in the middle. And usually most people can mark those two at a minimum.
How many can you bang out in a day?
Dude, I've done 25.
25?
Yeah, those are like $1,500 days easy.
Dope.
Yeah, easy. Those are my best. Like normally I do a week. I do the second week of April usually, and then usually we're cutting the third week of April. So I do them right before we mow. And I added aerations, to be honest with you, to help me with the influx of cash flow, to help me with my print and marketing, because we didn't always have money, and not like we're rolling in it, but 4 or 5 years ago, it was a different conversation. We would use that $2,500 to pay off a credit card to get all of our print material, all of our marketing material, all of our flyers, our postcards, our yard signs, payroll, pay the bills money, because very little revenue comes in March. You're not usually doing snow, right? You're not usually doing lawn care yet. So aerations helped me bridge the gap to not go broke.
That's awesome.
Now it's a different story.
Now, we get these early tree trimmings. It's winter right now, and I'm getting tree trimming calls right now. Fine, that's cool. But I put away just like an extra $3,000,
sure,
specifically just to break the spring.
Yeah,
that's all that we really need, because now that we're fully established, we just ease right into it. It's not like an emergency to get work, and that's just what happens when you have a clientele. But we do email marketing through MailChimp. I just love it.
Oh, yeah.
Sending email blast to all the customers. And then now we got Send Jim, so postcards, and sending brownies to the VIP customers. And then we're going to do this voicemail bomb thing where...
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of scared of that, bro, that you can actually send a voicemail to the customers directly to their voicemail. It just bypasses, or it might ring a half a ring. Yeah. So now like 1,000 or 1,400 customers get a message from you saying, hey, just check and see. It's Kalfas Landscaping, and and then...
Yeah. The phone doesn't stop after that.
Oh, bro.
I love it. That's why we enjoy the winter, don't we? Because the next 7-8 months, it's pandemonium.
Yeah, this year for sure. Secretary, virtual assistants, people answering the phones in my business.
Cool.
I can't even stand being on the phone anymore unless it's specifically a Saturday where I'm doing quotes. How do you deal with the phone when you're trying to work, man?
I don't. Remember, go back to the stopwatch. We cut. Like my mower, we rack up 600-700 hours in a season. Easily 550. This year on my mower, I racked up 5.25, and I didn't even have my mower on properties for about 2 solid months because we were demoing so many mowers for YouTube to do 2-week reviews, and I put those mowers through the ringer, and we would put 20 to 40 hours on a mower per week. So how do I run 500 hours on a mower per season? By the way, there's guys that put 700-800 hours a year on a mower. Like, it's not, and we're talking 6 months, talking 26 weeks. Some guys are like, well, we have 34 weeks and we do 500 hours too. Okay, different animal. I run 800 hours on a mower per season in that guy's market, right? So the simple thing is that if we're running those kind of hours on that kind of equipment, like the same analogy applies everywhere. Like, if you're not putting hours, the correct hours in, like how are you being productive? How are you making money? Like most people, again, there's no rocket science behind it.
I love the stopwatch idea. Are you using a digital stopwatch or an old school? Like, what is your stopwatch?
Yeah, literally, I went on Amazon. I got a it's probably $4.99 on Amazon Prime.
Dope.
So a phone call or a walk up or a return.
So are you
voicemail.
saying? So you go on as soon as you turn the key on the mower, you hit the stopwatch?
Oh, dude, I know, like in my brain, how much every single thing takes to do every single thing we do. Like every lawn, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, 14 minutes. We'll finish within 10 seconds of the same lawn.
So now that you're aware of that, what you track?
Yeah. We don't get like overly nerded out, like writing it all down, but you should. You could.
Put it in your CRM or something. Are you using a CRM?
We do. We use Yardbook, but it's not like logged in or anything like that. The biggest thing for me was understanding the macro. That everything takes time, and if it's not producing $100 work, it's costing me money. So that walk-up customer, we might...
If it's not producing $100 an hour
work,
it's costing you money.
Well, I'm not making what I need to make to support the lifestyle I want to live.
Smart.
Right. By the way, I'm not being a jerk. There's some people that might need to make $400 an hour to support the lifestyle they want to live. So again, I know what I need to make to keep my business moving.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of good friends help me weigh on that. I got friends Mike and Brandon, and we, you see us all on YouTube. Like, these guys have also helped me understand what I need to do. Like, I didn't figure this all out on my own. But again, it's the end of the year when the guy goes into, he's like, I made $100,000 this year. How much money you got left over? $4,000. Because you don't know your numbers. It sounds good. Everybody quotes growth. Somebody talks about that. Right. So the phone call, I might sacrifice 20 minutes to establish a new customer to play the long game, right? Because we want to pick up a customer and I don't want to be a jerk. But phone calls, like, especially when I'm running labor, like the phone calls get returned after 5:30. From 5:30 to 6 is when I call all my people back. Why? Because they're all stuck in their car driving home, and I know I have their undivided attention. Right. And I don't need to see somebody in person, right? When we did that video quoting properties in the truck, I don't need to see your property. By the time I get a voicemail back from that person saying, hey, I live on 123 North 1st Street, I can already have their whole property looked at, Googled, satellite view, street view. I can see everything they got going on. The only thing I need to know outside of like that is there anything particular that could be a red flag when I come to your property?
Oh, dope. So you don't even have to go look at lawn care properties. Why would you?
If you're in a subdivision where I already cut 28 other properties, what's the likelihood that your property is going to be any different? People are like, well, is it a blanket $25?
Love it.
Is it a blanket $30? Well, if I go on Google and I see they got 16 pear trees in the back, or a play structure that's the size of Discovery Zone, then yeah, your price is going to go up $6. But I can quote and I can see that all.
So what about the getting the mower in the back gate?
We don't do any gated backyards. I don't do a single gated backyard. For me personally, and I talk about this on length in my videos, is because when I get another mower that's $8,000 sitting around, it's costing me money by not using that machine.
Oh, I love it.
So you're so smart, bro.
Well, you got to figure out what works for you. Like,
dude, I remember taking a 48-inch walk behind. Mm-hmm. I would put this motherfucker in first gear. Yeah. This was before they had the safeties. Like the safety, you just break it off.
Yeah.
And then
through the fence?
Yeah, but I put it in first gear, and then I'd hurry up and run, and I'd pick up the deck sideways like an airplane wing, and then I'd walk and drop it into the backyard, so it would go in like this.
That's funny.
And then you cut the backyard.
That's it.
Because they're like, there's no way you can get that back there. But because I wasn't going to lawn boy that backyard.
Use a push mower.
Yeah, so.
No, well, again, like, and you might go to another side of the country, you might be listening to this and thinking, hey, I got, 80% of my lawns are gated. That's okay. That's fine. But you need to be charging, instead of a $30 cut, you need to be charging $45.
Okay, what if a guy says, well, I can't charge that in my neighborhood? Well, I've tried, and because a guy down the street will do it for less.
Well, then you need to sell your company. You need to add value. You need to explain the difference. You need to educate the customer.
About your consistency and all that stuff. Right?
Consistency, the fact that we pay taxes, the fact that I'm reliable, the fact that if you want it done right. But you know what? I'm also honest with customers. I say, look, if you're getting that lawn cut for $30, I'm going to tell you like a friend is my tagline. I'm going to tell you like a friend. That's a good deal. Like, I have a lady that she came running out the door, and I said this in one of my videos. She's like, you cut my lawn $18. I said, our base cut is $25. She goes, no, $18. I said, this isn't negotiable. And I said to her, I said, hey, why are you even asking me if I can cut your lawn? Why?
Oh, keep going.
Yeah. I said, why are you even asking me to cut your lawn? I said, are you happy? I said, if he's doing it for 18, why are you trying to get me for 18? Obviously, something's going on. Something's wrong. He's not showing up. He's not doing a good job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So you're going to get a little bit different value out of somebody who's doing it for 25 versus somebody doing it for 18.
Awesome. We're running out of time here, guys. So, Brian, where can everybody find you, man?
Yeah, Brian's Lawn Maintenance on YouTube, LaunchpreneurAcademy.com, and then definitely hit me up on Instagram, Brian's Lawn Maintenance. That's where we're always bugging everybody. Instagram's real time, man. I love Instagram. Instagram's like my brain on steroids, dude. You get to see the actual brain working. It's crazy.
I'll put all the links below.
Cool.
To Brian's Lawn Maintenance.
Hey, appreciate the time, brother.
Bro.
This is good. Yeah.
My pleasure, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Later. Oh yeah, and also you can check out this podcast. I'll put the links in below. The Untrapped podcast, SoundCloud, Spreaker, iTunes, every single place, whatever your favorite podcast show platform is. Just type in Keith Kalfas, the Untrapped podcast. Will pop right up, and you can listen to this while you work. Over and out.